It's Christmas time, and today I'm going to be whipping up some of my favorite sweet treats for the holidays, and my sister, my best friend, and the person I love to make cookies with the most is going to be joining me in the kitchen. Our cookie menu includes clean-eating Thin Mint cookies, no-bake sugar cookie dough balls, protein-packed reindeer food, and sea salt chocolate fudge. I'm Katie Farrell, and it's time for Christmas cookies on the next Dashing Dish. Well, it's Christmas time, my favorite time of the year, and I'm here with my favorite person to celebrate with, my sister. I don't know if Sean's gonna like that.
Wow.
And
yeah, tell me how you really
intro.
feel.
My favorite person of all time. Sorry, Sean. It's Christmas time, my favorite time of year, and I have my sister in the kitchen with me today, and we're gonna make some of our favorite holiday treats. And yes, that's right, this show is all about treats, which really, I think that's the best part of Christmas, don't you?
Oh, heck yeah. Let's do it.
Is the treats. So today we're gonna make some healthier, kind of like a peppermint patty cookie. And this was a healthy spin that I created after my true obsession with Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies. So I kind of call these my copycat Thin Mint cookies.
Oh, if I see a Girl Scout at a grocery store, I'm like,
which one's your favorite though?
The Samoas.
Okay, well, I have that recipe too, so check that out as well. But this one's my personal favorite because I do love chocolate and peppermint. So for this recipe, you'll need 1 cup of almond flour, a 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, a 1/3 cup of sweetener, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of applesauce, 3/4 cup chocolate chips, and a 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint extract. So to make these cookies, we're just gonna combine all the ingredients in the bowl for the cookies, and then we're gonna form them into little circle discs, bake them up, and then top them with melted peppermint chocolate combination. So we're gonna start with some almond flour, which, do you like almond flour or oat flour better?
I like them for different reasons.
I agree.
I love your banana bread that I always use almond flour with, but I think I use oat flour probably more.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely use oat flour more, but I feel like for cookies, almond flour is a lot more moist because it has the natural fat from the almonds. And it's really just ground up almonds. I wish I could tell you could make your own almond flour, but you really can't. I mean, I'm pretty sure it would just turn into like a nut butter if you put some nuts in your blender. You have?
Yeah, it was a mess.
How did it turn out?
I don't recommend it.
Was it like
it turned
nut butter?
Into like a peanut butter
Yeah,
that just
that's
could
what I
not
thought.
blend.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you have to buy almond flour, although it's in most grocery stores now.
It is. I find that it's becoming more popular.
Yes.
I like that there's more alternatives than just white flour.
Yes, I agree. And so I use it a lot in cookies and in baked goods that I want there to be a little bit more moisture, a little bit more of, like if you were to take the butter out of a recipe and add it back in, that's when you'll want to use almond flour, or in those types of recipes where really you just need a little bit of healthy fat. So this is coming together. What I like to do, especially when it comes to a cookie dough, is I like to get in there with my hands. You can just start with a spatula and then just kind of start to combine it with your hands until it all comes together into a dough ball. So Emily and I have been together making Christmas cookies really our whole lives, of course, because we're sisters. And some of my best memories is of us making Christmas cookies together.
Same.
And now we do it with our kids.
Yeah.
So we always make sure that every single year, usually I throw a kids cookie party and our kids get together and have way too much sugar and way too many
You just
sprinkles.
have to go into it not caring.
Yes, you have to just
about
know.
the mess
You just
either.
have to know that it's gonna be crazy.
It is.
But they have so much fun, and so it's so cute because now we get to watch them kind of relive our childhood of making cookies together.
Yeah. Mom always went all out though. She did like different colored frostings and all the special sprinkles and everything. So it was sweet.
All right, so now we have our ball of dough, and you just want to kind of shape it almost into like a rectangle shape, and that way it's just going to roll out really smooth. And I like to put it between 2 pieces of parchment paper. Do you want to roll it out?
Sure.
And that way it just keeps everything so that it doesn't stick, and it gets the dough really smooth, and you don't have to wash your rolling pin after.
I love that. This is a great one for kids to do. It was very simple.
Yes, very simple.
And I know my boys, especially Quentin, loves helping me in the kitchen and using the rolling pin because, you know, it makes them feel so strong.
And you can make these not only at Christmas time, but any time of year. Just because it's a chocolate peppermint cookie, like I said, it's really a healthier spin on a thin mint, which we all know we like all the time, right? It's not just Christmas time. So that looks good. You want to get it so that it's rolled out evenly and a pretty thin cookie, hence the thin mint. And then we have a circular cookie cutter. If you don't have one, you can make these in any shape, or you could use the bottom of a really small jar or glass just to cut out kind of a circle shape. And then you can go ahead and put them back on a piece of parchment paper, and we'll bake these off on a baking sheet pan. And what is your favorite kind of Christmas cookie?
It's a hard one. I know Mom always made those snowball cookies that had like nuts in them. I don't know what they're called.
I know.
You have that on your website?
Yes, I do.
I know. Those are good. I think anything that brings me back to my childhood.
I know. It's true. It's true.
It just reminds me of home and Mom and,
yeah,
you know,
it's true.
Traditions.
It's true. I also just love just the typical sugar cookie.
Yeah.
I think it's because that's something that, again, it brings you back to your childhood, but also it's just something that's fun to enjoy because you're making them and you're making such good memories while you're eating the sugar cookies. And we also have healthier almond flour version and oat flour version of sugar cookies on Dashing Dish. So we do that a lot. We make sugar cookies all the time in our house. So when you come up with the extra dough at the end, once you've cut out all your circles, just like any other cookie dough, you just want to roll it back out into a ball and go ahead and roll it out, start all over again until all the dough is cut out. And when we're done, we're going to bake these at 300 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so our Thin Mint cookies are cooked and they're cooled, and that's really important. You want to make sure they're totally cooled to room temperature before you coat them in the chocolate. So I just mixed my peppermint extract in with the chocolate when it was melted, and now we're gonna just dip our cookies into the chocolate. And I like to use a fork for this so that you can just really gently flip them over, pick them up, kind of let that chocolate drain off just a little bit, and then put them on parchment paper. If you have wax paper, that would work as well, but you really want to make sure you have either parchment or wax paper for this, because otherwise the chocolate will just harden and stick to wherever you're putting it. So don't these look so good? And the cookie inside is just the perfect amount of firmness to give you that kind of crunch when you bite into it, and the melted chocolate on the outside is divine. And if you don't like peppermint and chocolate, you just want these to be chocolate, you can just leave the peppermint extract out. So we're gonna get these all coated, and then we're gonna pop them in our fridge for about 10 minutes until the chocolate sets and they're ready to enjoy. All right, so now we're on to one of the best parts of making cookies, which is eating the sugar cookie dough. I mean, I don't know about you, but don't you love eating the dough straight from the bowl?
Yes.
Best part.
Yeah, especially if I know I'm not going to get sick.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
bring it on.
So these cookie dough balls are no-bake sugar cookie dough balls.
Yeah.
And the best part is you don't get sick. You can eat this straight from the bowl. And I like to make little balls out of it, and that way you can kind of pop them in your fridge or your freezer and
or
have
in your
a
mouth.
Little treat in your mouth. It's Christmas. You can eat the whole bowl if you want to.
Calories don't count anyway.
So for this recipe, here's what you'll need. 2 cups of oat flour, a 1/2 cup of protein powder, a 1/2 cup of sweetener, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of applesauce. Okay, so Emily, I'll have you add the oat flour to the bowl, and then we'll kind of just add everything together. The sprinkles we'll add last, because I find that if you add sprinkles like while you're mixing everything together, the color sometimes runs onto everything else. So I always add those last. And this recipe does have protein powder in it, which is really nice because it adds a little bit of staying power. That's what I call protein, staying power. It sticks with you so that you don't eat it and then you feel like you're either looking for more sugar or you want to go take a nap. Right. Protein is so good, and it just helps you feel like you're satisfied after you have it, even if it's in a cookie. Yep. So I like to add it to a lot of my baked goods. All right, so yes, go ahead and kind of work that together as much as you can. Then I always like to get my hands in there once I get to a certain point because it just helps bring everything together. And we'll also add the sprinkles just about now.
And if it needs a little bit more, it might need a little bit more applesauce.
Yes. Sometimes when it comes to baking with protein powder, or in this case just working with protein powder, depending on what kind you use, you might need a little bit of water to help bring it together. Some protein powders are just a little bit more dry than other protein powders. So definitely add like a tablespoon or 2 of water if the dough isn't really coming together for you. So we are now in a different season of life now that we've moved to Nashville. When we were in Michigan, our whole family lived there and we were all together for Christmas doing all the traditions together. Now we have family that lives everywhere except for us. We both live somewhat close. And so we're kind of forming new traditions. Do you have any new traditions that you've done this year?
No, we haven't started any Christmas traditions here yet just because we moved like right at the end of fall season, but it definitely was a challenge to try to figure out where are we spending Christmas because now we have families in now with us being here, 3 different states. Yeah. But I know that'll come with time, but I think as just a mom, especially with young kids, like traditions are so important to me. And, you know, we had to kind of throw them out the window this year just because we were traveling back to Michigan and then to Florida to see our family. Yeah. So it was not exactly what I would call a tradition-filled year with my own immediate family, but we still had a great time. But I definitely want to really create and solidify some traditions over the next couple of years.
Yeah, we actually did start a few new traditions. We found a few really cute places in Nashville that we plan to go to every year. They have like a few different houses that are really cool. Look at yours versus mine, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Okay, are you even watching what you're doing?
No, because I'm talking.
I have to be the bossy sister at least once to her.
I hope you get that in.
No, don't do that.
You see how she treats me?
We actually did form a few new traditions here. In Nashville, they have really cool houses that you can find on a map that people kind of put their house on display with light shows. Yep. And one is the whole nativity scene, and it's done really well. So we plan to go there every single year, and it's like a walkthrough, so you can actually walk through it. And then we are definitely doing some traditions with like a nativity book that we bought that kind of goes through every single day of December, walking you through the whole story of Jesus's birth, and it lands at the nativity scene, and then you do it with little characters.
That's cute.
So that was something that I found online, and it's a really cool way to talk about Jesus and incorporate Jesus into the season, because that's why we celebrate.
Yeah, I will say being in Nashville, the weather's so much nicer. So we actually got to do things outdoors for the first time at Christmas time. So it was fun.
For sure. Well, these balls are ready to eat right now, or you could pop them in your fridge until you're ready to have them. Coming up next, let's take all your favorite candies, add them to a bowl, and shake. That's right, it's time for my taste-tested and approved protein-packed reindeer food. All right, well now we're on to one of my favorite holiday munching foods. This is it's just danger.
It looks dangerous.
Danger in a bowl. It is that good. And this recipe actually went viral when I made it because it is,
I can see why.
You can just tell all the ingredients just look good, just even not put together.
Yep.
So this is a protein-packed reindeer mix. And it's kind of a fun name for just really a Chex mix made with the most delicious ingredients and some protein added. So for this recipe, you'll need 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, 1 cup of peanut butter, 5 cups of Chex cereal, 1.5 cups of mini pretzels, 2 cups of protein powder, 1/2 cup of candy, 1/2 cup of mini peanut butter cups. So for this recipe, we're gonna start by combining the melted chocolate and peanut butter, and we're gonna kind of just stir them together. And
I'll just take a spoon with that, please.
I mean,
is it inappropriate to lick the spoon on TV?
No, it's not inappropriate.
Okay, just checking.
So the reason that we're gonna melt the peanut butter and the chocolate chips is this is gonna be kind of the glue that holds everything together. And for this recipe, we just have colored candies, but what I like to do is if I can find the red and the green candies, that's really ideal. So when it's mixed together, then you can go ahead and pour that over the Chex cereal.
Kidding, not kidding. This is my favorite combination.
Yes, it is. It's heaven in a bowl.
Oh.
And you can see here that we have protein powder. Now, actually for this recipe, I used peanut flour. And you can find that really in any grocery store. It's just powdered peanut butter powder. And you could use protein powder, but this just takes the peanut butter flavor over the edge. So it's that much better, and it adds protein to it as well. So yes, this is loaded with sugar. I will not lie. It's healthier in the fact that we're also adding protein, but it's still sugar. And it's delicious. And let's just be honest, it's Christmas time. So, I mean, that's what we do at Christmas, right?
Gotta indulge.
Yes, you do enjoy some sweet treats. And I will tell you that I think that that is the best part of Christmas, is just really taking time to enjoy. Don't you feel like everything just slows down at Christmas time?
Yes,
like
I think that's why everybody loves it. It's also the busiest season, but I feel like there's so many delicacies and, you know, just, I don't know, just family time. It's a very treasurable time.
Yes, it really is. It slows down though in the fact that people take time to do things to make memories.
It's true.
And even though it is busy, I think that that's what we consider busy partially. The fact that we take time for relationships and to make memories.
That's
and we're
true.
like, oh, it's so busy. And of course there's some unnecessary stuff that we impose on ourselves, like buying gifts at all the crazy hours of stores and all things like that. But you know, that's what I really love about it, is that you do take time to make memories. And I think that's why people have like these connections to foods that they eat at the holidays, and it just makes them feel at home, you know? What do you feel like your kids love most about Christmas? Like what do they get most excited about?
Presents. Let's be real, that's like what all kids love.
Yes.
But I love letting them, like, they get those catalogs in the mail from different stores, and I just give them markers. And parenting hack, give them a marker and tell them to go circle all their gifts that they want.
It keeps them busy.
It keeps them busy.
Yes,
for a long time.
Even though you aren't buying them.
Then you got to talk them down and let them know you're not getting all those things, but it's fun to see what they like. And I just love seeing their reaction. Even though presents, like, it's not, that's not what Christmas is about. I live for their faces when they open those presents. Like,
yeah, it's true.
It's gonna end up in a junk pile in, you know, a few weeks after that, but those reactions are priceless. But this year was really fun because this year we surprised the boys with a puppy on Christmas, and that probably was my all-time favorite Christmas memory.
Yes, for sure. And I will tell you, you do something really cool with gifts. How you give like a book, you give something new. I don't remember, what was it? Maybe you did it last year. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, that was my goal, but I definitely went off of it. But I think it's a fun goal if you want to kind of simplify Christmas. You give them something to read, something to wear, something they need, and something they want.
Yeah.
So if you can limit 4 gifts per kid, but I, of course, went a little off. But this year in particular, we were trying to limit the amount of money we were spending on gifts just because we knew we were buying a puppy, which is a big expense. And truly, they could care less about the presents when we told them they were getting a puppy. And so it was sweet. They opened a big box of all the dog stuff, and their reactions were priceless.
So, and this looks really good. We're just gonna toss it with our hands.
Can we just take this to the couch and sit and eat now?
We can.
Okay.
So the melted peanut butter and chocolate, you kind of have to break up just a little bit because it kind of clumps together as you're stirring in the bowl.
That's fine.
And then we're gonna that's why we put it on a cookie sheet pan, so you can kind of get everything mixed together and kind of get some of that melted chocolate and peanut butter.
No, I just think these little chunks are like
the
what
chunks
you
are
call
gold.
heaven.
Yes, it is.
You know?
That is Christmas in your mouth.
That's
It's the peanut butter and chocolate clumps.
I mean, what are you doing after this recipe with this? Can I take this home? I'm just asking.
This is for Christmas.
It won't even make it into my house. I'll have like chocolate all over my face. My
So
kids
again,
will be like, what?
If you wanted this to be a little bit more festive, buy the red and the green candies because that's what makes it look like reindeer food. So this is great to bring to a party. This is good for, you can put it in little bags for gifts, or you could, like I said, just to snack on watching some holiday movies. So really this is all set to go, and again, if you just wait for the peanut butter and the chocolate to kind of solidify, then it's good and ready to eat. I think we should try it right now.
Yeah, which bite should I eat? This one.
So good. Coming up next, it wouldn't be Christmas without fudge, a perfect dessert to make for your family or as a gift to share. Real food ingredients that make the sea salt chocolate fudge delicious and good for you. One of my most requested Christmas recipes is fudge. Do you feel like fudge is a part of Christmas?
It sure is. It's a part of life.
See, I didn't really feel like fudge was a part of Christmas, probably because we really never had it as a part of our Christmas celebration. But come to find out, this was the most requested and the most popular Christmas recipe that I have on Dashing Dish. This is my sea salt fudge, and it is literally the easiest thing you'll ever make. You microwave it, you put it in a pan, and you have fudge. Couldn't get easier than that. So delicious and easy. We love that for Christmas. So for this recipe, you'll need 1.5 cups of chocolate chips, a 1/2 cup of nut butter, 3 tablespoons of honey, a 1/4 cup of almond milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. So this recipe is so easy to make. You can add the melted peanut butter and the honey. I'll add the melted chocolate to a bowl. And
another recipe with chocolate and peanut butter.
Yes. And then we just literally mix this up with vanilla and milk. I mean, it doesn't get easier than that.
Good.
And what I love about this is a really easy recipe to give away. So, I mean, who doesn't love fudge that's homemade? Like it feels like you really took time, because most fudge recipes are extremely laborious. Like you need to get out a candy thermometer, and it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
So people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, she made me fudge. And little do they know.
Really, I melted some chocolate.
And again, this recipe does have sugar in it in the chocolate. However, we added honey, so it's a little bit healthier as far as no added sugars that we're gonna add to this. And if you use Lily's chocolate chips or any brand of chocolate chips that don't have added sugar, like they use stevia, then you're actually gonna be working with pretty low sugar recipe. So we're just gonna stir until all this is combined, which I need to very gently mix it together so we don't have milk all over the counter. And then you can see I kind of coated a loaf pan with parchment paper. And you don't have to do that, but I would say if you don't, definitely spray your loaf pan with cooking spray so it doesn't stick. Look how good that looks.
That looks so good.
It looks just smooth, and that's what you want it to be.
Easy.
Smooth and creamy, so that when you pour it into your loaf pan, it's just looking like you already want to eat it.
Yum. It smells so peanut buttery and chocolatey and warm.
So I did buy online some sea salt, coarse sea salt. I'm sure you could also find this in grocery stores, but I just really like to see the salt on top of the chocolate.
It's pretty.
So that way you're not just like, oh, surprised by the salt, but you can actually see it. I don't know why, it just like makes it that much more edible when you look at it and you can see the salt.
And it looks so decadent, like it just makes it a little bit fancy.
Yes, it's true, it looks fancy. So that looks really good. We're gonna pop this into the freezer. I would say if you could pop it in the freezer for at least 20 minutes, that's like the minimum, but if you can leave it in for up to an hour, that way your fudge really solidifies, and then you can cut it into just little pieces of fudge. And it's nice if you have the parchment paper because you can just pull the edges right out and it lifts right out of the pan. Well, I just love Christmas, and I love spending time with you and all of our family and friends. It's such a warm and wonderful time of year. But I think the thing that I love the most is celebrating Jesus. There's just so much that just brings Jesus into every element of this season that you can't help but feel joy. And more than anything, I love enjoying fellowship with other people. And I think that's why I love Christmas so much. So thank you so much for cooking with me and just enjoying all of our favorites together today. If you'd like to find these recipes, you can head over to dashingdish.com where you'll find recipes and more to nourish your body and soul.